For real.
We're all just
Everyone's like, I love having a lot of liquids. The other day I was sitting there, I had a coffee, a water, and a
That's it?
no, crap. What's that? Kombucha.
Oh.
Couldn't think of what it was called. And a kombucha.
Have you ever had kombucha?
No.
And I was just
I-
rotoing.
I have once, and I don't like it. I've tried it. It's just too vinegary for me.
Vinegary.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's really strong.
Carbonate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a vinegary taste to it.
That's, I guess.
But-
Ray also doesn't like eggs. So.
I don't like eggs, yeah.
Really? Scrambled egg. Any egg.
I try them, again, like every 4 months in a different way.
Huh.
For some reason, I just
Every
cannot
4
like
months
them.
on the month. Every
I just,
quarterly.
I used to not like a lot of breakfast foods. Like, for some reason, I never liked bacon, sausage, any of that. But now I eat that all the time. So I don't know.
Most of the time, I eat reverse breakfast every day.
Explain.
I don't usually eat in the morning, and then when I get back from work, I just have breakfast.
Yeah, no, that's
So
cool.
it's like I always am having breakfast for dinner in a way, which I love.
That like breakfast for dinner. I remember my grandma always used to do that. That's such a so
It's
good.
a treat, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It feels like you're breaking like society's rules.
Seriously.
It's like staying up all night. Like,
Yeah.
I had a few times where this last semester where I thought I was gonna have to stay up all night. Like I would go to the library. Like I specifically remember I got a large iced coffee from Starbucks at 10:30.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
That's bad.
That's an aggressive move.
And had that in one hand on the moped,
Oh.
rode to the library, and just clocked in.
Wow.
I'm
Did you
trying to-
finish everything?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it was for. I think it was a history paper. It was a history paper.
World War II paper?
Yep. Yeah.
That's wild.
So speaking of World War II, you were just in Europe.
Weird segue.
That's awkward.
What I was thinking is like, cause you were talking about Prague and when I was talking to my grandpa and my dad about like Prague, it's like that city wasn't destroyed.
Yeah, no, it has not really been touched in like 1,000 years, which is crazy. But it was still like, you could tell that the roads were laid by like, definitely manual labor.
Yeah.
Like every road was like a little tiny cobblestone brick.
Well, that's what they made those roads for horseback, not
Yeah.
cars. And
Yeah.
So, dude, those cars are so small and they're all just jammed going through alleyways. It's messed up.
I could imagine, like, there's a couple cities that we went to that you could tell, like, definitely weren't super destroyed by the war.
Mm-hmm.
And Prague was one of them. And it was, like, night and day difference. Because you go to, like, Cologne. And Cologne is, like, a city that was absolutely demolished in the war. And everything looks like it was just now a square box, square windows, like all the apartment buildings. But then the flip side is like Prague, where it is like everything has ornate detail and like the most detailing you've ever seen on a building. You're like, that's just an apartment building
Yeah.
with like a random little shop in the bottom of it. It's not anything that's super important. It's just a build. Like you'd be like, wow, that's a castle probably. Nope, just an apartment building.
Yeah.
Which is wild to see.
I can't imagine a war like on our home turf.
Dude, I was talking about that recently. Just how
Also, home
crazy
turf, that's a weird thing to say.
World War III would be. Like, what would that be like?
It'd probably be like a lot of like attacking of infrastructure.
Even I was saying too, I'd probably go up into the UP. If something like we got into a wartime mode of our country, I'm just sending it up to the UP maybe.
It'd be a good place to hide.
Go. Okay.
Yeah, seriously.
That funny you bring that up because some guy in my aerospace class in the fall our professor brought it up. He was like, yeah, you don't know what it's like to have a war. He's from the Netherlands.
Uh-huh.
Have a war on your home front. He's our professor. Some kid's like, whoa, Civil War was here, and he stops the class, looks at this kid, and says, you cannot say that. And he like went off on this kid, like talking about how all of his relatives were in World War I, World War II, and how the Netherlands just got demolished in World War I and World War II. And he's like going on like, my family's been affected by this for generations.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this kid probably felt awful
Yeah.
after that. But I don't know. It's just crazy that, I mean, most of these people have had wars on their home front.
Seriously.
We've never really had anything too crazy, which is we're kind of lucky for. But
What's crazy, like speaking to World War III and what it's going to be like, is I think it was probably 2 weeks ago, Google had a really big outage on the eastern seaboard of the United States.
Yeah.
For like 6 hours. Like Uber was down, YouTube was down, Gmail wasn't working for a little bit. Snapchat was down. I know that's not Google, but like it was also down. And it's crazy because like that can just happen. You take that for granted, but like MySpace isn't really a thing anymore. And that was like a different, like their business ended, but just to think of what happens when Uber goes out, what happens when Google Maps goes out.
Maps? I don't like maps. People, if you didn't imagine not having maps for a week, people would.
That's what we did on the road trip, dude.
But seriously though, like if you have stuff to do for work, it's like you really for a week. Because I was looking at my screen time the other day on my phone, and I've had to do a lot of just weird driving, and I'm always looking up stuff because of traffic to get around it, and it just skyrockets my screen time. Because, but seriously though, I don't know what would happen if like you couldn't Google stuff, or it would just be crazy.
What's also crazy to think about, we're saying crazy so much, is like thinking about, so obviously if you don't know where you're going when you're driving like phones, you have to be looking at a piece of paper or a map, which is very hard to read.
Yeah.
So like
dangerous.
they say like texting and driving, but I'm like I'm wondering what using a map and driving was like.
Seriously, those things are huge.
Yeah.
Dude.
So.
Oh, that's funny.
The other day, like I had plans to meet up with some buddies down in Royal Oak, and the power went out in Clarkston, and for some reason, my cell went down. I couldn't get any text or anything.
Whoa.
So I'm trying to coordinate with them, and I couldn't text them. So I literally had to just begin driving, get out of Clarkston, just to see if they texted me to tell me to come over yet. I was just like, it was really weird. I don't know. I have no idea why it was down, but the power went out, and then cellular was down. So I don't know if they were connected. But you think they would have backup generators for stuff like that?
Who knows?
But I don't know.
Do you guys remember the power outage in like 2005 that was in the summer?
I do.
No.
It was like August.
Yeah.
We went up north. Like we went to the gas. I was so confused. We went to the gas station. There were so many people there.
Whoa.
And I remember just thinking like, I don't know what's happening.
It was like a nationwide blackout.
Yeah.
It like some massive power, like central power station like went down, and it just affected everything else. I remember specifically because I was in a pool, and like, and the jets went off. My parents like, that's weird. The jets went off in the pool,
Yeah.
and then
What pool were you at?
I was at. Do you know the Beauregards? It's gonna be really like Sage Beauregard, Jake Beauregard. We were over at their house. We're family friends with them.
Yeah.
And then the pool shut off. We're like, that's weird. And then we went and looked on the news, and everything
was
was.
no TV.
I guess you're right. How the hell would they know?
How'd you find
You're a
out?
liar.
How would they know? But then eventually came out that it was like a nationwide blackout.
I must have looked at Twitter. Wait.
Twitter wasn't a
It didn't
thing.
exist.
That's so weird to think about. Like,
You almost think a war like that would take down stuff like that nowadays. Try and cut off different communications, or
if you could cut off cellular, that would cause so many issues.
there's a movie with the Thor guy. I don't know the actor's name.
Is that something Hemsworth?
Yeah,
Dude, I don't know
Chris
actors.
Hemsworth.
Nice.
I don't know.
Chris.
Is it Chris? I don't know.
Liam?
No.
Neeson?
Moreover, these I think it's North Korea attacks the U.S., but they bring in these devices that stops all communications. Like we can't all service of some sort doesn't work. And that's kind of how they like start defeating. They take over states and move throughout and then they start like, oh, it's crazy, and converting all the civilians. It was an interesting movie. It ended horribly. It actually has Josh Peck from Drake and Josh.
Do you know how old he is?
Yeah.
How old?
Oh wait.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna say
36.
28.
32.
Oh.
He's a dad. I listened to
Yeah.
a podcast with him and Casey Neistat.
I was gonna say I
It
saw
was
that.
pretty interesting. And he was talking about how he didn't invite Drake to his wedding. Drake Bell.
Oh.
I'm like, Drake the rapper? I'm like,
What is that to do
Champagne
with
Poppy. Yeah, and that it was like because a lot of people were upset about that, and then Casey Neistat got talking about how like he doesn't show his kids in his videos anymore, which I think is really interesting. And I don't know where I'm going with that, but is that your new car out there? Or is that your mom's?
no, it's my
Oh, the thing over.
Oh.
Pause.
Pause. Cars are weird. It's a weird thing. It's something you spend so much time in, but it's also not a big deal to have a super crappy car, but it's also an amazing luxury to have a really nice car. It's just an interesting thing.
I'm so excited for the like Tesla minivan whenever like that hasn't been announced or anything, but
Seriously.
like my ideal world is like live like just a Tesla that is like just a road trip mobile.
And you just live in it.
You should look up the company Rivian. Have you ever heard of them? Mm-hmm. They're a company that is based in Livonia that is making electric SUVs and electric trucks. And so people are saying that they're going to have an edge on Tesla because currently Tesla isn't like almost ready to bring one to market, where this company Rivian is almost ready to bring these,
I feel like
cars.
I've heard of that.
Ford invested a bunch of money into them.
Yeah.
And these cars look incredible, and they're
Really?
off-road capable. They're like as fast as Teslas are, like with their 0 to 60 and stuff like that. But you can bring them off-road, and they're like off-road capable.
Jeez.
And their videos and their production cars that they've made, or probably just in their like little pilot plant that they
Yeah.
have, are crazy.
That's awesome.
And I feel like that would be a really cool company to look into. But yeah, it's coming soon where electric vehicles are gonna soon
stay.
become a big thing because every company is starting to invest in electric vehicles, like Chrysler, Ford, GM, and they're all making strides to try to make cars more electric capable. So it'll be interesting to see when
Totally.
Jeeps and other things like that are gonna be part electric.
Yeah.
Which is the crazy thing about.
You wonder the day, whether it's 5 years from now or 2 years from now, where like the majority takes electric over gas, and how gas stations convert. Be interesting.
Yeah.
They
It'll
definitely
be-
need the charging time up.
Yeah.
I know that
it's
the
gonna be
Teslas
Totally.
the Teslas can charge pretty quick, but that's still you're still waiting for like what is it
Hour and a
a
half,
half
or so.
hour?
I think it's a half hour.
Half
for
hour,
those
I think.
superchargers.
Oh, okay.
Superchargers, I think, yeah.
But that's weird because I'm wondering if like gas station will change to like entertainment places.
That's what I'm saying.
Like maybe get some Xboxes there, dude.
That'd be cool.
Maybe I'll corner the market.
Invest. Let's get going.
Play a little Fortnite, drop
Yeah.
tilted.
Speaking of investing,
You're Mr. Transition.
no, dude, I heard that word and I was like, I just
Okay,
thought of
okay.
it. So the, I can't remember what the guy's name is. We listened to the podcast with him, Ramit.
Oh, no. Is it with an N? No.
No, not Naval Ravikant.
No.
The
Oh,
no,
yeah.
the finance one. So
Ah,
one of my goals for this summer is to like take my bank account and split it in half and put it like in. Oh, I can't remember. I think it's a target date mutual fund, and just like set it like because that you put that to your retirement date,
Yep.
and just let it grow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I know. I feel like such a grown up.
Yeah.
That's a good move.
When is your target? When's your target retirement?
Never. I don't know. Retirement's a weird thing.
I know. Because there's like two arguments to it of, is it great to just work, in a way, work until you die? Like a lot of people are happy working until they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you just kind of keep working until you're 80? Whether it's maybe you still make some videos and you still do stuff while you're 80.
80-year-old Andrew making videos. That would be an interesting.
That's
story.
weird to think about, like your 70-year-old self.
Yeah. Imagine, I was thinking this the other day. Imagine Joe Rogan in like 20 years.
Dude, when he dies, I'm gonna be so sad.
Can you imagine like that funeral?
Dude, that's
Seriously. No.
I mean, my great uncle who was a World War II veteran was still working at like the age of 90.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like casually, like not like 9 to 5 working.
Yeah.
But he still like was working from home, like keeping his brain like operating.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big thing. You
It's when
can't
you
just kind of
stop.
sit.
when you
Yeah.
just sit.
You have to be doing something productive every day.
I agree.
That's this. Did you hear the podcast with Laird Hamilton? I'm just constantly
I
referencing.
I have that queued up. That's my next one.
He
I
had this
think.
friend Don Wildman. That was his last name, Wildman.
that's funny.
And he died at 85 and did like his last triathlon like a few weeks before he died. And I think when he was 84, he did the RAM, which is the Race Across America, on bikes.
Jeez.
And he was 85,
How
so
many
it's
miles is that?
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's from I can't remember, but do you know how that works? So it's 4 bikers, and you don't stop. You go 45-minute segments, and you don't like you sleep for 45 minutes and switch. Like you just constantly.
Do they get driven up?
Yeah,
then?
yeah,
Okay.
Oh.
yeah. So there's a car with the 3 bikers that aren't
So it's
going.
a team of 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you race across America.
How many teams are there?
I don't know. I think a decent amount. It's
Wow.
it's intense.
That's really cool, actually.
Just
Yeah.
nonstop.
Yeah.
So it took 30 hours to drive from Houghton to Seattle.
Yeah.
Driving fast. So it probably takes a week.
Yeah. Dude,
For
imagine the demons that you're facing. Because
Dude.
you never, I mean, I guess you get like an hour and a half or a little bit
Technically, yeah.
a little bit longer than that if you're, as your break.
That'd be
but like
such
you
a-
never get a full night's sleep.
That'd be such a weird thing to train for. Because
Yeah.
you would have to get used to going on no sleep, and it'd be weird.
Yeah.
Used to napping fast and regenerating.
I can't nap.
Not
No,
a skill
I
in Ray's tool belt.
like don't like it. Do you guys like napping?
Dude, I love a good nap.
I can't figure out how to make a nap productive.
Good
Every
job.
time I've tried, I wake up more tired.
How long do you do them?
Like maybe an hour.
Too long.
Yeah,
too long.
way
20
too
minutes.
long.
20 minutes?
Yeah, 20. I heard 26 minutes. Jocko does them for like 10 minutes.
I was gonna say he does like 7
See,
minutes.
I can't fall asleep that fast.
Yeah, I usually set it for like 15 minutes and then like just lay down. And even
But
if you don't fall totally asleep,
Just the act of closing your
I don't know
eyes.
why I nap the best on the ground.
Mr. Graham.
No, I'm serious.
I like laying on my like living room ground.
Yeah.
Like prefer that sometimes.
That's funny. There was times I would do those phone calls, and sometimes, dude, I just cannot keep my eyes open at that desk. And so I'd be sitting there, and I'm like, I gotta put my head down for a second. Literally put my head on my arms crossed, and I would sleep for maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and I would feel amazing.
Yeah.
It was just like, I couldn't keep my eyes open. Just douche.
I can't do it. I don't know why. People say caffeine naps are also good, like drink coffee and then
And
go.
then
Those
nap,
are
and then you
great.
wake up like, what?
But then I can't fall asleep fast. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I have to like have like 20 minutes to fall asleep.
Gotta be on your phone before bed.
Shots
kidding.
fired. So the other day I was at Starbucks and I was sitting there. I brought like a bunch of my journals and I didn't bring my laptop in or phone or anything. And I ended up being there for like 4.5 hours.
Jesus.
Totally lost track of time. But I was just having the best time ever. Like I was like so happy just like doing stuff. And like my question to you guys is like, what task do you find yourself getting lost in? Like, and then you're like, holy shit, it was just 4 hours. And
There was times in the morning when I would go to the coffee shop and I would bring like books and 2 notebooks. Like I have different notebooks dedicated for different things. So like one I would just think of ideas in, and then another one is maybe a journal. And so I'd get to this coffee shop, I'd get this sweet thing of coffee, super delicious, and I would just get buzzing while I'm thinking of crazy ideas and over the top ideas. So I'm sitting there thinking of an idea. Maybe I get a little exhausted. I read for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then I think of something while I'm reading. So I put it down and then I start writing again. And that's something where I was in there, all of a sudden I got there at 8 and it's like 1 o'clock. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm really hungry.
When I get in the zone when I'm like studying for school, time just flies. I'll like be in the library. I'll like get there after dinner or whatever. It's 6, and then I'll be like, "Whoa, it's 11 o'clock."
yeah,
I'll be like, "I should probably go home now."
Yeah.
And I don't know. I put some late nights in, but that's when time flies the most for me. I don't know why. That or skiing, but that's more not
No, still.
skiing. I kind of just lose sense of time
Yeah.
as you're doing. I don't know.
this is kind of random, but I'm just thinking this. What do you think of book club so far?
I like it a lot. I, as you know, did not read at all.
Yeah.
And he used to like get on me, tell me like to go to like read books and stuff. I just like never like just decided to like put that time toward like reading books. I have read more books because of book club than probably the last 7 years.
No,
Like
it's cool.
combined, probably. But I really enjoy it. I feel bad because slacked the last 2. Because
Well, you were trying.
one was the end of school year with graduation, and then one I was in Europe. So this next one I'm excited to read. It's the autobiography.
Yeah, you
of
know
Andre.
him, right?
Yeah, I used to watch him play when I was little. He was like my favorite tennis player. And so this will be a really interesting one for me. I was really excited that it got picked.
Totally. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I don't know. I was waiting for you to say something.
Yeah, I've accidentally I missed a lot of meetings in a row. I'm like falling out.
Dude, this is I'm glad we're actually talking about this right now. It's like scaring me because obviously we don't have too many responsibilities right now. And it's a Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Like that's pretty much you shouldn't I'm like not saying you personally, like you shouldn't really have anything going on or like you should be able to guard that time. But I'm just so nervous because the older we get, the harder it's gonna be to do anything, whether that's
Right.
exercise, read.
Seriously.
Because like when you have responsibilities as like a parent
Yeah,
or whatever, it's so scary.
It's, well, you hear people say, you should do that before you have kids and stuff like that. And it doesn't really settle that well. But even after starting to work and starting to get different responsibilities and commitments, it's like, man, you got your kids' softball, whatever game, and then you got this and then that. And it's just like, you're getting pulled in every direction where every minute is almost scheduled. And so I get it. I already struggle to make it. I'm now, it's like, no matter what, Wednesday nights, doing nothing. It's kind of like what I've decided.
Yeah, now that I'm in like a more of like a routine,
Totally.
like working,
Yeah.
I think it'll be fine now. But the past month and a half has been just every day has been just a wash.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been pretty hectic. So I'm excited to get back into like a more scheduled thing, but still kind of do things spontaneously here and there.
What did you miss most about home when you were on your trip?
I missed like a lot of. I saw like a lot of people. Like a lot of my friends like getting together and doing things that like I would have liked to be a part of as well. That's like one thing I missed, but then again I can't complain because I was in Europe doing fun things as well.
Yeah.
So there was like a bunch of things I saw, like, oh dang, that would have been fun to be at, or oh dang, those guys are out on the boat or whatever. That would have been fun to be on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You had great weather while you were there, too.
it
right?
only rained twice.
That's awesome.
Twice, yeah. So like, but actually, I kind of like rainy days when you're traveling because it gives a different vibe to like a city that you're in.
Yeah.
So it was cool. Like we got to see Cologne on a beautiful sunny day and got to see what it was like. People were out, in Germany you can just drink on the street.
Yeah.
You can
a
buy
lot of places.
You can buy a beer from the convenience store and crack open it on the way out.
Yeah.
And then people were just doing that, and there was like a party in the park that we were at.
Dude, it's so nice doing that. It is honestly really nice to be able to walk around, whether it's even like, not necessarily. We would go for sunsets, and you could just carry cups, and you would pour some wine with all your buddies, drinking wine, watching the sunset, and chatting.
I'm wondering why that's
you can't
illegal
do
there.
that. Yeah.
Culturally, alcohol is just so much different over there.
Yeah.
It's something that they get brought up on almost.
That too, and I'm wondering if it has something to do with like cars and like we do a lot more driving.
A lot more driving.
So if I don't know, that's just
It's a bummer though. We can't walk around Detroit with the beer or anything like that
and
on a beautiful day.
That like it was so wild to see. Like literally, we walked from where we were staying. My friend Wes hit a kid named Simon that lives in Cologne. Great guy. He studied abroad in high school in Traverse City, and my friend Wes is from Traverse City. So they went to high school with each other for a year.
That's cool.
And so we stayed with him, and we had an overnight, like a really early morning train from Paris into Cologne. So when we got there, all we wanted to do was sleep. So we slept for like a couple hours. Then he woke us up and we're like, hey guys, let's go to this park. There's like a techno DJ playing.
Oh, that's fun.
I'm meeting up with a bunch of people. We're like, oh yeah, for sure. We go to the liquor store right outside of his apartment, grab a beer, open it up, start walking toward the park. And like when we got toward the park, we had finished our beers, so we went in and got another one. And just like everyone was on that same like vibe. Like they would be jumping from park to park or whatever, and just grabbing beers along the way.
No, that's fun.
And then, like I said, how we got to see both sides. And then the next day was really rainy, so I like kind of experiencing like different vibes that a city has. Like it's kind of a weird
You
word,
said
but
vibes.
I said vibes a lot. But it's really weird to just like see how people interact with the city that they live in.
Yeah.
And as like an outsider, it's very interesting to see how people live day to day in that city. It was cool that we got like a more local experience in Cologne rather than
Yeah, I agree.
let's do all these tourist things that
That's
we
what's
should probably
cool.
see.
When you're at a place long enough, it's cool to have the transition of a tourist to a local.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm sure you got that.
I mean, even in Detroit, it's starting to turn into that. When I was first there, I felt like a tourist. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see these tourists and you're like, oh, geez, look at this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am, the guy that's only been here for a month.
He's a
Look at
seasoned
this-
veteran.
Yeah, yeah. Look at this wanker.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see like two sides of a city.
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
So one of the things you mentioned when you were talking there is like you felt like you were missing out, and anyone that knows you, like I don't even know how to describe it. Maybe you can help me. Ray is like the master of making plans or like doing something or like
Every day.
dude, it's insane because I feel like I'm good at that, but Ray does it so much.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, holy shit, dude.
No, it's genuinely impressive.
No, it is.
My mom mentioned that to me yesterday because I was like, hey, I called her. I'm like, hey, I'm probably just gonna come home. Like, no one's really doing anything. Like, couldn't really find anyone to come downtown or whatever. And she's like, you don't have to do something every day. I'm like,
called me yesterday.
I'm like, you're right. I'm like, you're right. I don't know. I just feel like I have to be doing something all the time, which is a problem. It could be a blessing or a curse if you look at it.
I would argue
But
maybe more of a blessing.
Yeah, it's
I feel like I
think
can't
it's-
sit still.
dude, you need to meditate.
Yeah, you.
That would be interesting.
I don't even know what that would do to me. That would be.
He calls me yesterday. He's like, "What's up, dude?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in East Lansing, kind of just chilling." Like, he's like, "I might come up." I'm like, "No."
I was like, I'm just trying to find anyone that wanted to do anything. Like, no one was trying to. I don't know. It was just like a really chill. I mean, it's Father's Day today, so
Yeah.
people have plans. But I was like, I was just sitting with my brother. My brother was passing out on the couch. I'm like, don't want to just watch my brother keep falling asleep. I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh, that's so funny.
That is really funny.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We all just said that at the exact same time.
It's I think it's a good. I mean, I have certain days where every single second it seems like I'm pulled and doing something. Whether I get back and then I go to the gym and then I have this commitment, then that, and some of those are my absolute favorite days.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you're at a point where you're so consistent on it that it's almost weird to not do anything because that's what you're not used to. And it's I think it's pretty cool keeping your energy up and because sometimes I have days where it's like, dude, I just want to sit on the couch and just chill. But it doesn't seem like that's necessarily how you are, which is
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's when you keep going, you don't realize how because when at least Josh and I were talking about this, when you get back from work and you don't do anything for like literally 10 minutes, like if you kind of just sit down, like if I sit in my bed or something, I get so much more tired. It's almost like I need to get home from work, immediately go on a walk or do something to kind of keep the day going in the momentum of that.
Yeah, I feel people always say like you're just nonstop. I feel like I just don't sit down. I mean I do at times, but I'm sitting right now. I always like to be doing something like I don't know. I just don't want to waste time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Time is, everything. So
yeah.
don't want to keep
There
wasting
goes.
time.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, it's funny that was actually brought up to by my mom yesterday.
Yeah.
No, it's an admirable quality, I think.
And it's funny because
Dude, there's a fox that just it's already around the corner.
Oh man.
There was a fox though that just ran across.
really,
Yeah.
Star Fox.
Sorry, go ahead.
And it's like I said, it's funny because I consider myself a person that does a lot of stuff. Like, I guess I think where Ray and I might be different is like I need to be alone sometimes. I'm not saying you don't, but like you, I think you're more of an extrovert than me. And but we were talking about this how I'm never really bored.
There's very few times where I'm like bored. Well, I'd say I like to be with people, like conversing and like just having other people's presence. I don't like to be alone.
Podcast is all about.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't like being like alone in my head, which is like a weird thing to say. I just like that's what I was like mainly scared about traveling on my own. Just like being by myself for like extended periods of time would just be like
This guy needs
really
to
weird.
meditate.
Well, what was diving into that? Like, what scares you about? Not scares you, but what don't you like about?
I just feel like I would get like annoyed of myself. Does that make any sense?
I don't know.
I like to like bounce off people and bounce ideas off people, and I feel like just being alone I guess it would force you to meet people, which would be really fun. Like my friend Brady just did that. He did on a trip by himself, and it was like forcing him to meet a bunch of people. But I mean, I've never really traveled like that before, like abroad,
Yeah.
and so it'd be really interesting to just like tackle that by yourself.
Agreed.
I'm sure I could have figured it out and I would have met a bunch of people. But I mean, also having two guys that I went to college with for the past 4 years and was able to bounce ideas off them, see what their opinions were. And like, we also kind of was like a collective group. We do things for the group. Was really cool. But we also met a bunch of people along the way. So it's not like we got rid of that aspect.
Yeah.
I just feel like going alone would have been really interesting. It would have been a totally different experience, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it absolutely would have been. And I remember my parents even when they said, whenever you travel, just travel with somebody. Because it's not that it's dangerous, but anywhere you go, you should kind of bring somebody in a place that you've never been before like that, where it's a completely different company or country company.
Dude, I'm telling you that 9 to
He's too
5 is eating away at you.
Yeah, the other day, I've never done this before, but my coworkers were talking about how
You're out of the frame.
my coworkers were talking about how they go to movies sometimes alone. And I was sitting there and they're like, it's so amazing. I can just be by myself. I get to have all the snacks to myself and all that.
Badass.
And I was sitting there, Jesus. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't know if I've ever been to a movie by myself. Seriously.
I have probably like 5 times.
Really?
Yeah, dude. I went to see Wreck-It Ralph by myself.
That's funny.
Brought a notepad. It was literally me and only kids.
That's
I
hilarious.
never felt so creepy in my entire life.
Yeah, that is especially with a notepad, dude.
Dude, I love Wreck-It Ralph.
No, but with the notepad.
Have you seen the second one?
No, not yet.
Have you?
I heard
seen
good
either.
things.
I told you good things.
No, I heard from other people too.
You know, like what the message is? It's that so like everyone has insecurities, and social media highlights those.
You know what I still haven't seen is 8th grade. Bo Burnham.
What?
I
know.
watched a girl watch that on the plane, and I was like, she was like sitting like,
Speaking of creepy.
Yeah.
and I like watched like I could just like tell. I've heard about the movie. It looks sad.
Yeah.
It looks very sad.
It is a little bit sad, but it's good to watch. Like I had my mom watch it because like some of my cousins are around that age, and like not only is 8th grade a tough time regardless, but 8th grade right now with social media and the internet
Crazy.
is super crazy.
I mean, to think about, the only social media that we really had was Facebook back then. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It is
Maybe
a different
Twitter
world.
started,
Yeah.
right? But Facebook was like the main thing back then.
And it's just weird too. Madeline's sister is about that age, and her friends they do weird different things, whether they're on a brand new social media that everybody in the school is using or whatever, and they have like these just weird things, and all of them comment on everybody's photo, which is an interesting thing. It's kind of cool in a way, but literally she'll have 85 comments
Whoa.
of just if you like it, you comment too, and just. It's just a weird world out there.
Have you ever heard of pods?
No.
So it's just really that's just
Yeah.
reminding me of that. I listened to this podcast and we overheard someone at a coffee shop talking about it. Mm-hmm. So pods are like a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group where you join in and it's like maybe 20 other people, and you post and you say, "Hey, I just posted a picture," and within 15 minutes, everyone has to go comment, and then you have to do vice versa for the other people that post, because with the algorithm, if you post and then you get X amount of comments quickly,
Yeah.
then it goes to like a way higher percentage of your followers.
Yeah, some girl I met in Europe was telling me about that.
Yeah.
She was like, I was
It's like, how do I join?
no, not the pods thing. She's like saying if you get a certain number of comments,
Yeah.
the algorithm will put it to more. It'll show higher on the feed of your followers.
Yeah.
I was like, that is really interesting. I never
Yeah.
knew that. And I was like, I don't know. I guess I've never really looked into the algorithm side. Because
Yeah.
remember when Instagram was just chronological
Yeah.
and it was like
miss
start
it.
to finish? I actually liked like just scrolling back, just like that makes sense,
It
doesn't it?
makes a lot more sense.
I guess, but the algorithm thing you could.
And I hate when you accidentally update it and you lose the photo that you want to look at or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It just gets lost in this craziness.
And sometimes like
Oh.
photos from like 3 days ago from someone will show up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, that's like, I feel weird like liking this, but I shouldn't feel weird liking that. You know what I mean? But yeah, the algorithms, our lives are being controlled by algorithms.
But it's also crazy about those pods. They just if you're not commenting within a certain time frame
You
and
get
all
kicked
that,
out.
you're getting kicked right out. So you're in a group of 1,000 people.
It's not that big.
Let's just say 100 people.
It's also not that big.
Okay.
But how do you
maybe
get in
not.
these pods?
You just like
Find
like,
them?
Yeah, just on Reddit or wherever.
Interesting. I've never even heard that.
I guess if you type
It's
it
like
notepad. But yeah, it's pretty much you got to be on your phone all the time. I just,
Ray says, already am.
yeah, but you always got to be commenting. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I'll probably do it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing.
Is it like people that you know or just don't know at all?
I mean, it could be either or. We could start a pod.
Start podcast.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
Always having to comment right away.
That would be really interesting. Yeah, starting work has been weird. I know you started.
Yeah.
Andrew started too.
Yeah.
And I don't
Couple
know,
of
just
corporate guys.
two corporate
Hardly.
guys. And I don't know. It's interesting so far. I learned, so I'm in a group of like 28 people.
It's a pod.
He just tells us the whole thing we told him.
It's like 28 people who will go through the same program that I'm in,
Totally.
and we all finish at the same time. And so we're the class
Get your
of
mind out of the gutter, Andrew.
we're the class of 2021 of the CIE class of
That is
2021.
weird.
And so I've figured out that a lot of people have their lives a lot more planned out than I do right now, just by talking to like these 28 people.
How
Like
so?
some of them are in like long-term relationships that like they've like bought a house with
Dude.
their like significant other already.
Everybody at my work is like looking at houses. Everybody is like, this is it. Living in Shelby Township and all that.
How old are they?
22, 24,
Yeah, so-
20. It's like,
Yeah, so
what?
Yeah, some of the people I work with,
can't
like,
believe
not
it.
saying that that's bad.
No,
'Cause,
it's surprising,
People,
that's it.
people I mean, they have different upbringings or whatever, but
Or
it's-
different, or things they like. Some
Yeah.
people are, that makes them as happy as can be, and more power to them.
There's like one of them that's engaged already, and it's just like very interesting because like they're asking like about like spousal benefits and stuff like that, and I'm like, I am very far from thinking about that
Yeah.
right now. Like just move back home, still on my parents and health insurance.
Yeah.
Like some kids are like,
riding that out till 26.
Yeah, yeah.
Bet your ass. I get great benefits.
No, Josh and I have really funny conversations after work where we're sitting in traffic and we are like, dude, I can't believe that like people do this for 40 years. Oh,
Yeah.
it stopped again. Let's keep going, dude.
Yeah.
did that one stop?
I can reach you with this one.
What were we saying?
People do that for 40 years.
Or 50. No, yeah, it's just weird though.
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately can not imagine being at the same place for 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah, a guy just retired 41 years at my work.
Whoa. That's a long
That's-
time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, there's
That's almost double our lives.
Yeah. Just purely at that one place.
there's a lot of people that talked about that, where like our age group will probably not do that.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about that a little bit up north, but just how the generation is moving towards a lot more people with internet in general
Yeah.
are going to start working for themselves. Enough
Yeah,
said.
true.
Like that's just what a lot of stuff is moving towards. So many companies, whether they're big companies or small companies, just find people online. Whether we're having Madeline's doing it right now. She's figuring out videographers for New York, and so she'll just post something on Craigslist. Finds a kid that's trying to get his portfolio up, pays him $100, works like 6 hours. All he's getting is $100 in lunch, and that's all they need. They just need a guy that has a decent camera and can hit stop and go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting because all these companies, you don't necessarily need to hire, let's say, a media company to do it. You just got to type in on Reddit, or not Reddit, but
Yeah.
Craigslist, let's find a videographer or a photographer.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of stuff is moving towards.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some guys that I've worked for at Chrysler in my internships that they've been there for 35, almost 40 years, and you're like, dang. But I feel like, I mean, we'll see, but I have to stay there for 4 years.
For 4?
So my program's 2.5, and then I have to stay for 2 after.
You signed a contract?
Yeah, I
God,
mean,
dude, that's so crazy.
but I mean,
It is.
it makes sense from. So the program's 2.5 years. I get to rotate every 4 months, 7 times in different areas. That's gonna keep it really interesting. I'm not
Rotate
gonna-
within the company?
within the company, and I have to do 5 engineering rotations, 1 engineering elective rotation. That's like anything I want,
Okay.
and then I do a non-engineering. So I have to do something like marketing or like brand
Interesting.
development.
Social media?
So something like that. So it would be really interesting to like get that side of
Yeah.
things that I've never even had experience with. But then from there, they want you to stay. You get to choose when you're done where you want to work, like what area. They want you to stay for 2 years because they paid for my master's degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which makes sense. They're
Oh, yeah.
paying. Master's degrees aren't cheap.
Yeah.
So they're paying for all that, and so I mean that's
no, it makes
4
a lot of
years.
sense.
Get development and see where it takes me, and then from there, if I want to stay with Chrysler, I can. Or if I want to move on, then I move on. So see.
Sweet free masters.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig.
Really,
Doing
really
the school
cool.
thing with work will be interesting.
I was gonna ask.
But-
Yeah. So wait, where are you taking school exactly? I guess I'm
I'm
kind of.
going to Oakland University for a master's in mechanical.
Gotcha.
And I do 2 classes a semester outside of work. So in the fall, I'll start 2 classes. But because I'm doing 2 classes and in this program, they give me Fridays off.
Nice.
Or
Wait,
you
have
could take
classes
Mondays
on-
too, but most people take like Fridays because Fridays at
Works
most
better.
companies are kind of like pretty loose days anyways.
Yeah.
Not much gets done. So, which would be good to have 3-day weekends and
Mm-hmm.
use the time to study or go travel somewhere if I have the time.
No, for
Which
sure.
would be really nice. But yeah, it's really
Do
interesting.
you have any area in particular where you're like, I think this is where I want to specialize as an engineer?
I don't know
Anything?
yet.
You have no idea.
No idea yet.
Cool.
But which is kind of why I wanted this program. Most kids like say they graduate from Michigan Tech. If they don't get into a rotational program, they start right away in a job that they'll probably be in for like 2-3 years before they move somewhere else within the company or something. So like I know plenty of guys that they start in a position and that's their position.
Dang.
And I'm kind of fortunate enough to be able to be like, okay, I'll try this out for 4
Yeah.
months. If I don't like it, doesn't matter.
You live with a choice.
I move on to
No,
something
that's
else.
that's really cool. I like that.
So
a lot.
I'm excited for that. And it's so like your case, but you're doing like video stuff, which you really like.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I know there's some guys. They might just take a role because they want to get their foot in the door.
Dude, it is really cool how, whether it's comfortable or knowledgeable, but I would do video stuff a lot while I was at school, but you just find excuses. Oh, school works here. You just start to put it aside where maybe you don't open up the video software and the editing software very often, blah, blah, blah. But just simply doing a little bit every single day just even opens up your knowledge about it, thinking about it every day. And it's just crazy how much within this first month of working, a lot of knowledge of video has just skyrocketed. Whether it's difference between 8-bit, 12-bit video, and all these whenever I have free time, I type in B&H video on YouTube, and they have super informative things.
Have you ever
And-
been there?
No, not in New York. Is that the big one?
crazy.
What
Is
is
there
that?
other smaller ones?
I don't think so.
Really?
Maybe there's one in LA.
What is that?
B&H is like the largest camera store I think in the world.
Oh, really?
It
Yeah, I
is
think
like
so.
it is a sight to go in there. Like when you buy stuff, they have like tracks on the very top where it's like sending items like around the store.
So cool.
Really?
Yeah, and
That's wild.
they have literally so much equipment for everything. I think it's 2 stories. It's absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Is it in New York? You said?
Yeah.
Like where at? In City?
I want to say Chelsea. No, I can't remember exactly.
It's just like in the, okay.
yeah,
That's kind of cool.
yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, what was I going to ask you? Have you how have you adjusted to working every day?
It's been good, honestly. I was even saying to Andrew recently, but this week in particular, this past week, I finally feel like I'm getting into the groove. What, even if it's the simple sense of I'm starting to understand my coworkers, I'm starting to understand my role in a way, and just getting comfortable. I had to switch to PC, which is a little different.
Yeah.
Now, dude, I'm a wizard on that computer. It's awesome though. It's so fun. I would say I'm pretty blessed in the fact that a lot of times I'm just fucking around on the computer. It's not that, but I'm doing stuff. But I mean, you're sitting in editing software. Here I am listening to Audio Jungle music and jamming at my desk. But it's just, I'm doing fun stuff all day. I was making this.
You're
on-
terminated on Monday.
on Friday, we were editing these commercials, and we have all this slow motion footage, and where it's shot in 120 frames, and we have like dogs shaking and all these just fun, wild videos. And it's honestly, it's just fun messing around with really good footage and having a blast with it. I don't know. I like it.
I did have a question for you. In Europe, I noticed something that made me guilty. I wonder if this happened to you.
Okay.
I felt bad when I was talking with people in English and they had to speak with me in English, but I was in their country.
Yeah.
Did you experience that with Italian?
Totally. And in the beginning, it's a lot. It's like I remember doing as much as I could on the plane ride over and the weeks coming up. I didn't really do that much. But it definitely helped having a class. And one of the things they told us was you almost have to, in Italy, in a way, you start to Italianize your English.
Okay.
And so whether it's how you say things, not even necessarily saying it with an accent, I'm not saying that, but not saying I need ice cubes in my water, something like that, where it's like, oh, what's this guy what does he want? But trying to say things where they would understand more, and it's not so against the grain to them. And so as the longer I was there, whether I could speak a little bit Italian, that means the world to people. But just the simple sense of saying the right words so that it makes a lot more sense for them, not being so touristy to them, that it just, they're a lot nicer. You feel better about doing it, and I don't know. But definitely, I felt bad about it.
Because when Brad was on, I remember Andrew said something along the lines of how a foreign exchange student in the U.S., how you kind of sympathize for them, how they're trying to speak English, and then you try to help them speak English to you because you know that they're trying.
Mm-hmm.
I literally I couldn't form a sentence in French or Italian or Czech. There's no way.
Oh yeah.
And them speak accommodating and speaking English, I felt bad.
And everybody can speak English.
You're right.
Pretty blessed in that regard.
Which was wild to see.
I'm feeling pretty blessed.
Pretty much everyone could speak English.
Yeah.
There was only one time, and it was in Paris, when we had to actually use only gestures and stuff like that to figure out how to order, or it was when we were getting tram passes.
Yeah.
The guy didn't speak English, and we were trying to tell him that we needed a 3-day ticket. And it was very hard. It was very hard for
Trees up.
yeah. But this girl I was talking to that I started work with, she was saying how she just went to Vietnam, Cambodia, and stuff like that. Jeez. And how it made her realize how because when we work with a foreign exchange student in the U.S. in a group, you're like, oh man, this is gonna be really difficult because they don't really know English that well. But now experiencing it the other way kind of makes you feel bad that you thought that before, because you're like, wow, they probably think I'm so dumb for trying to
wanker.
Yeah. Which is crazy because you know that you're not, but just the language barrier is what is really hard.
When I went to a town, Santorini in Italy, it's kind of in the dead center. It's where those hot springs were. We got an Airbnb, and it was just everybody in this small town only spoke Italian.
Yeah.
They spoke some English, but it was a whole weekend of gestures, and she would just say these words over and over in Italian, and we're trying to Google search it, figure out what she's saying, and just even nodding our heads yeah, totally, I completely agree. And it was just so difficult. And she called us at one point trying to figure out how far away we were, and was literally just screaming at us on the phone in Italian.
Airbnb woman?
Yeah, and we were like, no say, and using Italian to try but then she would just say the phrase over and over. Probably said it 5 times, this sentence, and we're like, no say, and just no comprehendo. But it's a crazy thing. It's just so wild. I can't imagine knowing a different language. They say when you learn a new language, you officially start to really be able to speak it when you start having dreams in the language.
Whoa.
Where say you're working on learning French, all of a sudden you have a dream and it's all in French.
That'd be wild. I met this kid from Costa Rica when I was there. He wasn't he was an older guy, but he was traveling. He was staying at the hospital we were staying at, and he was saying we had a discussion about if he didn't learn English when he was living in Costa Rica, he said there's no way he'd be successful. I'm like, dang, thinking about how fortunate we are to have English as the first language. He knew from a young age that if he wanted to get a good job or have a successful life, that he would need to learn English. I'm like, whoa, that's just crazy to think about.
Yeah, good as hell at English.
My English is pretty poor too.
Yeah, think about that. Learning 2 languages compared to we've only pretty much learned 1. I never got I never got Spanish or any other language when I was in 2nd grade or anything. I don't know if you guys did in elementary school.
No. I think they maybe started doing that later. Yeah. But can we switch to a different topic? Because I literally can't say anything about this.
Yes, that's totally.
So going back to your program and the 4-month rotations that you do in You didn't read the book, right? The Astronauts.
I did not. I
Okay.
didn't have time to.
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to though, eventually.
So
Eventually, I recommend.
yeah, Colonel Chris Hadfield, his book. One of the things he talked about is like when you're in NASA, you get is like ample opportunity to become a specialist in very like a bunch of different things because when you're up in space, the skill set required is like very vast. So if you have more things on your tool belt, so to speak, that you're like much more valuable. And so my question for either one of you guys is like, what are some things maybe this summer or just in the coming year that you guys want to become specialists in outside of work?
Yeah.
I want to get back into like video editing. Because I used to do a bunch of video editing for like ski videos and stuff back in the day. And I used to feel like I could bust out a video like pretty fast.
Bust it.
But now there's no way. I'd probably lost in any program I tried to pull up.
Yeah.
So I wanna take that idea that you gave me of doing that with my film photos. There was a video that you sent me. I don't know who it was by.
Eden.
Yeah, and he had like it was a very rapid pace of a bunch of photos, and then it like cut when the music slowed down to like some videos. I've pretty much the last 4 years in college, I've had a film camera, and I've taken hundreds of photos on film. And I think it'd be really cool to do like all 4 years of college, like have something like that. Like have like a really fast pace and then some videos or whatever.
It'd be so cool.
I'm gonna try to do that for this summer. That's gonna be my goal. Is try to make a video like that. Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to.
Willing to help too.
Yeah, I need to figure out what program I can get on my
I'm not willing to
PC or whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's what's out there anymore. Premiere is that?
Probably,
Yeah.
but it's expensive. You get free trials, but so.
You can
I need
get
to
a
figure
cracked
it out.
version, too.
Yeah, torrent it or something.
What about you?
Maybe something along the lines of doing some real writing, in a way, whether it's writing fictional stories that I can have a lot of fun with. But I don't know. I think there's something there where I get. You're saying getting lost in things. The other day, or not the other day, a long time ago now, but just even sitting on my laptop and trying to think of a ridiculous scenario, a fictional thing, whether it's going to the bottom of the ocean and seeing that, but like it's writing these just vast imaginative stories. I get so lost in it, and it's so satisfying to finish. And I literally smiling the whole time just writing these.
I can see that.
But yeah, I think maybe whether it's publishing them, not necessarily publishing them, but whether it's putting it somewhere so there's more reality behind it. But maybe that's a project I can start moving towards, is doing some real writing.
Yeah.
I know you're dipping your toes a little bit in that.
Yeah. Did for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you should. You got a Squarespace website that's
Seriously?
expensive that can host your words.
Speaking of Squarespace, we're here today.
Are we sponsored by?
I wish we were sponsored by Squarespace.
How about you? How would you answer that? To expand it more, what is a skill set that would make you better at what you're currently working on too?
I think,
Because in terms of the astronaut thing,
yeah.
that's what makes him an overall better astronaut in a way.
I think just having the skill or the ability to like just single-handedly focus on one thing, whether that's just for the day or for like an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And then just being able to shift that focus and like, because for me, when I am locked in on a project, I'm locked in, but it's just the time between when I'm not that it's like trying to minimize that time. But I've really been into running a lot. That's probably what I want to get better
Okay.
at. I found out, I didn't tell you this, with the shoes that I had, I ran like a few 100 miles more than I was supposed to in those shoes.
I bet.
And that's why my legs were hurting so bad.
I need to get a good pair of running shoes.
How long do you have those shoes for?
A year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had mine for a long time. Do you like them? They're
new ones?
super cool looking.
I haven't ran in them yet.
I'm excited to hear how they are.
Yeah, do you hear Ray's doing the triathlon with us?
Nice.
Yeah, I need to start training. That's what I'm just scared to start. But I know once I do start,
Yeah, you just got to start.
dude, the swimming's gonna kill me.
I mean, we got a bunch of lakes around here.
I guess you're right. I'll just hop in your lake and go for
Yeah,
a swim.
I mean, Josh swam with his head above water the whole time.
Yeah. No
in the
goggles.
triathlon?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Was that intentional, or did
he
you forget
fucked
goggles?
my
I didn't
time
have
over. I was
goggles.
laughing the entire time watching it.
Oh, I bet. Why you did that on purpose?
Somewhat.
Were you just like, what kind of?
The
Just like,
well,
I don't
so
even know how you do that.
one, my goggles were not good.
Okay.
And I never ended up buying new goggles. It was kind of just a little bit of laziness in that regard. But on top of that, there's whether it's swimming in those certain things, you watch a lot of people, they start to like drift in different angles and start to go aways and whatever it was. And since I didn't have good goggles too, I wasn't doing a lot of training with goggles.
Yeah.
And so next thing you know, it started to get closer and closer, and I still hadn't gotten new goggles. And I'm just kind of like, this is how I've been doing my somewhat training, is with my head above the water. And it's not that bad. I got out of the water just behind you.
Where did they do the
It
swim?
was whatever.
Where was the swim at?
Frankenmuth River.
It was in a river.
Yeah.
Yeah, up and down
With
stream.
current?
No, I mean hardly.
No, there's no current.
Okay. All right. I was gonna say, jeez.
But there is a lot of splashing and stuff like that, which it can just kind of throw you off on where you're actually swimming. And okay, you got to come around this corner and then swim back. And I don't know, it was kind of nice just being able to see everything the whole time. Taking it all in. I was like, what the?
Yeah, the swim. How long is it? How far of a swim?
Well, we're doing the Olympic this year, right?
I was so dead after that swim.
Dude, I got out of the water and it's just like you don't get enough oxygen.
Yeah. I was just like, wow. It was, and just the anticipation and the adrenaline of it all was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, that'd be. I don't know. We'll see. I need to start cracking at it.
Yeah. Those events in general are an interesting thing.
What?
Just whether going to a place to go for whether it's a marathon or a 10-mile run event, it's just a weird thing. It's something that people go their whole lives without doing, but a lot of people really make a big deal about doing those things as well. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that maybe we even put on.
I think it would be
fun.
really cool to do an arc triathlon.
A arc triathlon.
Yeah.
I'd be down for something like that.
You could.
Oh, 100%. Once around the lake or like across the lake, run around the lake, bike or something like that.
Yeah. There's some serious bike. Yeah, that'd be really fun.
And get like I guarantee we could get some people to participate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just weird that, I mean, we all watched that Cole Bennett TED Talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I did not. No,
I did.
sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about
Anyways,
the podcast.
Just that like you can put it on an event, and I think for me at least, so much of things is like you feel like you're not allowed to do it, and it's like actually I can throw an event for like you can book an artist for a show.
Yeah.
Like all you need to do is put up the cash. Like
You're
we
right.
booked Lil Uzi Vert,
Yeah.
and
We should start putting some cool events on at the Arc.
yeah,
Well,
That'd be great.
live podcasts.
Yeah.
when we did those shows in high school, I don't know if any of you ever came. We used to like do that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Sprained
right.
my wrist.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Dude, that was cool. You did a
but
lot of that.
We did that very similar to how Cole Bennett went about it, where
Yeah.
you approach the venue and say, "Hey, we want to do this. What's that going to cost?" They give you a rental fee for the venue,
Yeah.
and then you know how many tickets you need to sell to make your money back.
That's cool.
So then after that, you'll start to make profits.
Yeah.
So that's basically what we did.
Did you come out with some profits?
We sold like 250 tickets for that venue, and to make our money back, we only need to sell like 100, I think.
Wow.
So like we definitely made some money on some of
Yeah.
those in high school, which was kind of fun to do. But at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time, I wouldn't say I would do something like that again.
Sure.
But like just being able to throw an event that you can say we kind of did
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
was really cool back then.
And learning what it takes to get to make that event.
Yeah, and there was a lot of like it took a lot of effort, like
Mm-hmm.
a lot more effort than I thought it was.
I bet.
Planning and figuring out who's doing what. It was kind of stressful, but that was a good podcast. I mean, not podcast, TED Talk. Where
Yeah.
he was talking about
I
booking
really
Little
like
Uzi Vert
That's cool.
before Little Uzi Vert was like popular,
Mhm.
and then he became popular. But like while he was in the process of planning the show,
That's cool.
that was wild.
Yeah, shit.
Do we have any last words? I'm so hungry right now.
Really?
I'm very hungry as well.
Really? I ate right before this.
Well, thanks.
Thanks.
Good host.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I guess that's good.
Any last words? Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
For
to
real?
the
Happy
fathers
Father's Day.
out there.
Did I send you the Father's Day video I made?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
It's my voice. I'm gonna be the new.
I saw that.
You did see it. I'll have to show
I
you.
didn't see
Right?
it.
It's pretty cool.
Show it to me.
All right. Peace. Oh, I'm tired, dude.
How long was that?
Long. Let me check at the laptop. Raindrop. Laptop.